Thank you to SnakeStone97 for their generous donation as a YouTube member. And talk shop with Keisuke. Now, finally, a scene that is exclusive. I quickly find Keisuke next to the gear repair section, perusing many different string kits. Hey, find what you're looking for?
Oh, hey, Benjamin-san. No, not really. They don't have the brand I usually buy in stock.
Which one do you usually get?
Duoro. I like the flexibility of it.
Oof. I don't think you're gonna find imported products in a store like this.
Yeah, I was pretty sure I saw it once before, but I asked the clerk and they said they never sold it before. I didn't realize that my stock had already went through and no stores in town sell that particular brand.
Well, you could order it online or buy from a different brand.
I don't really want to wait. Even if I order express delivery, it's still bound to take 3 or 4 business days, and I don't want my old strings to interfere with practice. What brand would you recommend?
Me? Personally, I usually go with Sakura, but I don't know if you'd like them. They tend to be a bit sturdier.
Do you think they have any test rackets in the store that I could use to check the stringing?
What, you think of hitting a ball indoors to get a feel for the string?
No, of course not. I'd just do some manual tests to see if it could do as a replacement until I get my hands on some Duoro ones.
Why don't we ask a clerk? Let's see where I can find... there he is. Excuse me! A bat wearing a store's uniform appeared and happened to pass us by, and I grabbed his attention.
Yes, how may I help you?
Do you have any display tennis rackets equipped with some Sakura red strings that my friend could take a look at?
We have one in the bag. Let me get a check for you.
A clerk walks out of the back of the store to look for the racket Keisuke wanted to test.
Sakura red?
Yeah, that's the same type I use from that brand. They usually sell 3 different lines, red, blue, and black. The red line is better for players who use a lot of topspin. Since you started changing your playstyle a little bit, I figured it might help you.
Ah, see. Makes sense. Thanks, Benjamin-san.
Don't thank me yet. We don't know if they have it here for you to check it out.
As soon as they're here.
Clerk comes back with the racket in hand and gives it to me. Oh, thanks. Here, Keisuke, check it out. Keisuke starts doing a marathon of tests, such as pushing and pulling the strings, trying to force the gaps in the strings, etc. After a good 5 minutes of vigorous testing, he shakes the racket a bit and gives it a satisfied nod.
Yeah, this'll work.
Great! We'll take a pack of Sakura Reds then.
Very well. Would you like to bring your racket to the store so we can make the switch?
No, thanks. I already someone to do that for me.
Alright, that'll be 83.99 yen.
Got it. It's okay if I pay with my card.
No problem, sir. Come right this way.
It's so cool seeing the intense, level of focus they have on the expressions of the main characters. Getting to see all the differences and all the stuff.
It only made her more fierce when I started practicing guitar and turned out to be good at it. Why didn't you put that much effort into the violin? She kept asking. It was very amusing, although after she became even more insufferable to deal with. Dad got the raw end of the deal, though. From what he tells me, she was much more relentless when he was a kid. She forced him to pick up the piano because she wanted the prestige of having her son be a pianist. And we're finally on day 10. Keisuke. Oh, that's true. I agreed to go out with Keisuke today. But my bed is so nice and warm. I don't want to get up. Maybe he'll let me skip this time. Yeah, right. Even I know that that would be a scummy thing to do. Come to think of it, I don't even know where we're going. Yeah, Keisuke didn't really give me much information when he asked me to hang out with him. I remember I was already done with my club activities for the day and I was about to head home. Senpai, wait!
I saw Keisuke running my way, still wearing his practice clothes and his tennis bag hanging from his shoulders.
You need me for something, Keisuke? Also, please don't call me Senpai. Sorry. Coach insists I do when we're in practice and I haven't switched back to normal mode yet. I actually wanted to talk to you, if that's okay.
I could see beads of sweat running their way down his forehead onto his eyebrows. Keisuke had to wipe his face every few seconds due to just how much sweat there was.
Sure, I don't mind. But would you rather shower first? I'm actually surprised. Don't you usually shower after practice? Yeah, I do, but since you left practice before me, I didn't have a chance to ask you to wait around for me. If I had showered before running to find you, you'd have gone home already.
True, I don't normally wait around after practice, but I don't like getting naked in public, so I prefer just walking to my house and showering there. Alright, I don't mind waiting around for you. You can go shower.
Oh, good. Feeling all this sweat running down my fur is starting to drive me crazy.
And just like that, Keikun turned around and dashed back to the gym. Never stand between a man and his shower. Unless you want to be in between a man and his shower. Keikun insists that we come over to the expensive ice cream shop he likes so much. Of course, I object to it, given that this place is absurdly expensive and I can't pay for it, which only makes Keikun decide that he will treat me. I already told you don't need to buy me ice cream. Even though I've been going against it, Keikun still makes a point of coming over to the shop anyway. And since it's not in my nature to simply walk away from someone in the middle of a conversation, I stupidly follow.
I already told you I don't mind treating you. Come on, why do you even care? You know money's not an issue for me.
You know I don't like people buying things for me. I don't want to take advantage.
Yes, I know, and that's exactly why I want to treat you.
What? That doesn't make sense.
Really, it's quite simple. The fact that you don't expect nor want me to pay for things for you only makes it so that I want to do so. Because I know you're always hanging out with me for me, not my money. I suppose you could just say that I like honest people like you.
Jesus, I'm not used to seeing Keikun smiling this much. Isn't that a contradiction? He shrugs, walking over to the counter and placing an order. Seems like today he's not just gonna get some scoops.
So what if it's a contradiction? It's how I feel about it. People are weird like that. Yes, I'd like strawberry yogurt sundae. Lady behind the counter smiles and nods, getting right to it. Come on, get something, I insist.
Admitting defeat, I sigh, walking to the counter and putting up a cup and scoop for myself some ice cream. Some ridiculously expensive ice cream. If this were me treating someone, I'd be weeping every time they picked up another scoop.
Don't you want to try the sundae? It's really good too.
Is it cheaper?
No.
Then no. Is this how June feels when he goes out with us? So then I start reviewing all the times we hung out as a group, trying to think of how I could have made June uncomfortable. Make a mental note to myself and try to go places that don't require to spend money in the future.
Geez, I'm treating you anyway. You might as well just pick whatever you want.
Yes, and I want this. I placed the ice cream cup on top of the scale and to be weighed. I made sure to pick the minimum necessary, not to have Keikun on my case about being too stingy while at the same time not getting too much. And yet the total still makes me want to weep. Rich people venues are scary. After picking up our orders, we walk over to a nearby booth and take our seats, sitting directly across from each other. Keikun wastes no time plunging his spoon into the soft, creamy ice cream. Damn, I have to admit that sundae does look good. No, I cannot be taken in by temptation. What was it he wanted to talk to me about anyway? Keikun snaps back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Speaking up with his mouth still full of food. His voice comes out funny. For a boy raised in such a rich household, he sure doesn't make much of a deal about table manners.
I wanted to ask you to go out with me this Saturday.
Go out with you? And you had to take me out for ice cream to do that? Couldn't you just ask me at the school gate and saved yourself the trouble?
Keisuke shrugs. I wanted to bribe you with some ice cream to increase my chances.
Bribe? You basically badgered me until I accepted the damn ice cream. If you say so. Anyway, I suppose I have Saturday free. Yeah, sure, why not? We rarely ever do anything with just the two of us. Might be an opportunity to get to know each other better.
You say that, but you're the only one of my friends to ever visited my house. Pretty safe to say you already know me better than anyone else in our age group.
That's sad. Is that his spoon in his mouth? Okay, yeah, it is. You know, a guy like you could have a ton of friends easily. Why do you only go out with us? We're clearly a bunch of weirdos.
I could shoot that question right back at you.
Touché. He chuckles and takes another spoonful of ice cream. At least he seems to be enjoying himself. By the way, how are you feeling about practice lately? Especially now that we've been paired up as training partners.
I still don't get why you decided to partner up with me out of the blue, but It's what I've been wanting since I first joined the club, so I'm not gonna complain. But to answer your question as plainly as I possibly can, I hate it. Keikun sets a spoon down, pushing his now empty sundae cup away and sighing. Don't get me wrong, it's what I've always wanted from our tennis club, but God, I just hate losing. And the way you you short walk off me every time, I thought I had figured out a way to deal with you at first, and it seemed like it was working, but why do I have to injure my wrist there of all times? If that match hadn't been interrupted, I'm sure I would have won. He grumbles unhappily, quietly sulking in his seat. Well, not that he's wrong anyway. I don't think I could have managed to win that one. But the extra time I had to compose myself was enough for me to get my head back into a place and turn the match around when we resumed. Keikun didn't get a single game after we restarted. Seriously, how can we play so many matches like that and I cannot manage to come out of it with a single set? Seriously, that's demoralizing. Well, this is what you asked me for since you joined the club. Now you have it. Suck it up. Yeah, no need to tell me twice. I just needed to get it out of my system. He sighs, putting his elbow on the table, leaning his chin into his hand, absentmindedly looking out the window. By the way, Keikun, I don't think I've ever asked, why do you even play tennis in the first place? We've already been through this. His father wanted him to play tennis, and then he liked it. After not liking it at first. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're definitely one of the hardest workers in the club, and you're definitely certainly a good player, but you just don't have the body for it. You have to know you're going to have a hard time going pro, right? I like tennis. Shouldn't that be reason enough?
To attempt to go pro in one of the hardest, most competitive sports in the world? All this against your family's wishes? Sure, that's reason enough.
Yeah, my reasons are more complicated than that, but I don't feel like talking about them right now. Sorry, Benjamin-san, I mean no offense by that.
Don't worry about it. Sorry to have asked such an awkward question in the first place. Keikun shrugs and turns his gaze to the window once more, staring at the scenery outside. Really like to look out that window, huh? Without looking at me, Keisuke fires back an answer.
I like looking at the cars passing by. For some reason, it relaxes me. Does that make me weird?
I think it makes you just as weird as people who enjoy watching clouds or stars.
So you're saying that it does make me weird. Noted.
If it weren't for the smirk on his face, I'd have a hard time telling whether he's joking or not. His sense of humor is a bit puzzling at times.
Well, I guess I've already said my piece. I think I'll head home now.
Alright, I'll wait with you until your car comes to pick you up.
I appreciate it.
Keikun pays our tab and we exit the shop. Best part is, I still don't know what his plans for today are. I just hope it isn't something completely intolerable. Guess I'll have to power through it. If I'm lucky, I'll even have some fun doing it. Although with how ominous he sounds while talking about it, I can clearly imagine us doing something awful. What sorts of errands does a rich boy even have to run? Can't he just get someone to do things for him? I sigh, rubbing my eyes to snap myself out of this groggy state. I'm gonna need to take a cold shower before I'm awake enough to deal with this crap. Here's hoping today doesn't suck. Keisuke scheduled for us to meet outside the local station, even though he lives far from here. He insisted that this is the best place for him to do all the things he needs to take care of. I'm sure he's just been trying to be considerate to me. Too bad, though, because I was kind of looking forward to riding in a limousine. Guess we're going to have to pretend I just didn't think that.
Sorry I'm late.
I see Keisuke emerging from the train station, leaving me all kinds of confused. Keikun, what are you doing inside the train station?
What, am I not allowed to ride the train?
That's not what I meant.
What did you mean, then?
Boy, I'm just cramming my foot further down the hole, aren't I? I struggle to find the words that would allow me to express myself without offending him when...
Relax, I know what you meant, I'm just teasing.
Oh, of course.
Wow, you suck at acting. That laugh was so fake.
I know I'm a sucky voice actor, Keisuke. You don't have to fucking tell me. I tell myself that all the time. Fuck it.
And why do you look so stiff?
Sorry, I'm a bit caught by surprise here. I never imagined you as a teasing type.
The hell kind of image do you even have of me?
Well,
Actually, don't answer that. I don't want to know.
at least I'm off the hook. But seriously, though, why did you take the train? Don't you usually ride in a car everywhere? I mean, I've never even really realized that it was because he was rich, but I did always see him arriving to school by car. But I don't ever recall him arriving in a limousine before. It was just always just a popular car.
Usually, yeah, but today I felt like taking the train. Either way, we should get going. I have a few things I need to get out of the way first so we can actually have fun.
Wait, I thought you'd be spending the whole day doing errands. Keisuke blinks a few times, looking at me in awe.
What? And you believe that? Hell no. You really think I'm just selfless? And I'm that selfless that I'd agree to do a bunch of errands for my family for a full day? They're already forcing me to inherit the damn company. I'm not gonna waste my weekends on things that they could do themselves. I only have one thing I have to do for my father, and then we're free to do whatever.
Oh, I see.
In that case, we actually might have fun after all.
What do you need to do for your father, anyway?
Well, it's not really for my father. I need to go to the bank to make a transfer that's beyond the limit I'm allowed to do it by app. It's for one of my father's employees, but the old man doesn't know about it.
What, are you bringing one of your father's butlers to leave you, let you leave the house? You bribing one of your father's butlers to let you leave the house unnoticed? I laugh at the sheer absurdity of my joke.
Nah, I tried that when I was younger, but none of them would take it. Even after I offered them 1,000,000 yen, even every time, they would let me out.
For real?
Yeah, why?
Rich people problems are really a lot different from that of us regular folk. Never mind.
Huh?
Let's just go already. I'm forced to wait outside of the nearest bank for over half an hour. The place is so incredibly packed with people that you can see them squeezing against the glass doors and walls. It looks like a giant tuna can filled with people.
I'm alive!
Keikun finally emerges from the doors, dusting his clothes off and shaking his whole body like a dog drying himself. It's kind of funny.
Oh, there's so many people in there. I really have to switch to a different agency.
I thought those premium ones for rich people didn't have problems with lines. Why don't you use those?
And risk my father finding out about my bank account and the things I do with it? Or worse, my grandmother? No thanks. I'd rather take the huge lines.
What exactly do you do with your bank account anyway?
Well, I've been storing all the allowance, birthday, Christmas, and really any kind of money I've received ever since I moved in with my father.
Wow, you must have a lot of money saved up by now. Maybe you could buy a small island and go live there without worrying about your family.
I've thought about doing that, but I wouldn't have any money left to pay my bills after buying the island. Plus, I don't even like islands in the first place. I'm not fond of the sea.
Wait, do you have money to buy an actual island?
Yeah, didn't you know already? I mean, you suggested it and everything.
Yeah, curse these rich people. No, forget about it. My stomach hurts.
Benjamin-san, you're acting weird.
I don't want to hear that from you. Anyway, are you all done with your chores?
Yes, I mean, there is one more thing that I was asked to do, but I'm not doing that.
Oh, what was it?
My grandmother asked me to go to her hospital and pick up her prescription meds. She asked me to do it every month.
Why? Can't you have one of your family's employees do that?
Oh, sure she can, but she knows that I'm afraid of hospitals and that due to protocol, they always have a ton of security clearances before I'm allowed to pick up her prescription. So I'd end up being forced to wait for her over an hour inside whilst freaking out. It's one of the woman's many ways of torturing me.
Jesus! Why would she go out of her way just to do that sort of thing to you?
Because she's an awful person and she gets off off on her power trips. Your guess is as good as mine. She's been doing this kind of stuff to me since I was a little kid. The only difference is that I don't take it lying down anymore.
So, she goes without her meds?
No, one of the butlers that has worked with me for many years does it. I pay him to go pick him up and for him to be silent on the matter.
Wouldn't the hospital keep note of who was picked up the prescription and pass it along to her?
I've also got some connections at the hospital that take care of that for me. As far as the records go, it says that I'm the one that's picked up the meds.
Wow, you're more resourceful than I thought.
You have to be, otherwise you get walked over by everyone. But I think I'll take that as a compliment, so thank you.
He's so much more lively and carefree now there's just the two of us. Well, what are your plans for the day now?
I don't really have much planned. Just have a few things that I want to check out for myself, though. If you don't mind, I want to pass by a nearby music store.
Oh, you're buying a new instrument?
Well, sorta. I'm buying a microphone to use on my computer. You guys said so many good things about my voice when we went out to the karaoke this month that it kind of got me thinking about it. So in the end, I decided to buy a microphone and try to record some singing.
Oh, that sounds like a great idea.
You really think so?
Yeah, we've already told you have an amazing voice.
Thank you.
He's kind of cute when he smiles like this, I'll admit. We should act like this more often. He should act like this more often. Although, I'll be honest, I didn't even know there was a music store nearby.
You kidding me? There's music stores everywhere. People can't live without music nowadays.
Huh, never really noticed.
Well, it's kind of like a doctor's office or a church. You're so used to seeing them everywhere that you can't really notice them when you pass them by.
I suppose that's one way to put it.
Either way, I'm going to the store to help my father do the purchase of my guitar. The owner's a nice guy, if only a bit peculiar. But don't expect anything fancy. He hates fancy. I wasn't expecting to go to a music store at all. Why would I expect something fancy? Well, I suppose that's true. Oh, and if you don't mind, I'd also like to treat you to lunch. Let me stop you right there. No. Oh, come on. What's wrong with me wanting to treat you? I can pay for myself. Oh, so what if I pick a super expensive restaurant then? I'll go outside, order a burger, and come back inside with it. You're joking, right? I shrugged, smirking. Try me. I believe you. He rubs the bridge of his nose and his forehead in exaggerated gestures to signify his annoyance. Jeez, I can't even do a nice thing for you without you returning it into an argument. Sorry, I don't like people buying me stuff. You treat Kobayashi all the time, though. What's the difference between you treating him and me treating you? The difference is that most of the time June doesn't have enough money to pay for his stuff while I do and don't mind treating him. So if I said I actually want to go someplace that just happens to be super expensive, one you wouldn't be able to pay for, you would let me do it then. Or would you force me to go someplace else that I don't really want to go to? Well, that's... Keikun chuckles, giving me a few friendly taps on the shoulder. Relax, I'm only just joking. I'm not a picky eater. We can eat wherever you'd like. The offer to treat you still stands, though. He winks and laughs and walks away and leaving behind in a daze. Hey, wait up! Look at all them guitars. Guitars on the window. Not the window, the wall. To the window, to the wall. Keikun guides me through a couple of alleyways and less used streets, constantly pointing out which of the stores he likes or doesn't as we happen to pass them by. It takes us nearly half an hour to finally reach the music store he said was nearby. Wow. The amount of instruments on display is staggering. I think I could spend a whole day just counting the amount of guitars they have in front of the store.
How can I help you?
Holy mother! I jump away as a deep growly low voice echoes from behind me, nearly making me rocket jump to a nearby wall. Deep growly low voice. That's Coach. That's Coach Grifter right there.
Hey, settle down. You're gonna end up breaking something. Oh, Keisuke, is that you?
Keikun walks past me with a big smile on his face, quickly clasping the stranger's hands in a firm handshake. Nice to see you, Kobayashi. Not Kobayashi. Kiyoshi-san, you seem to have gained some weight. Who just says that? The man, a lizard with the deep green scales and almost giant at the light, does a mock frown.
Oh, you're hurting me there. First time I see you in 3 years, and that's the first thing you say to me. And for the record, I haven't gained weight, I've gained muscle. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't aware that muscles weighed less than air. I'm sorry, so you've gained muscle without getting any heavier, that must be it. Har har, very funny. I see you still the same smartass. Is Alex not with you?
This time, Keikun frowns, fidgeting uncomfortably where he stands. The lizard notices this change and offers a sympathetic smile.
Let me guess, you still hate having to be chaperoned around town, so you ditched him.
Keisuke nods, quickly looking away from the still smiling lizard. In fact, it seems like the lizard's smile has only widened. Ahem. I clear my throat, attempting to get them to notice that I still exist.
Oh, right, Benjamin-san. This is Satsui Kiyoshi. He's the owner of the store.
Hiya, nice to meet you. You don't look like one of Keisuke's many employees.
It's 'cause I'm not.
Wow, don't tell me that this nasty, moody little brat actually managed to snag himself some friends.
Keikun punches him in the shoulder, looking like he's about to murder him. Where I stand, it looked to be a fairly strong punch, but it barely managed to faze the lizard. He only rubs the spot with a cynical smile on his face.
Oh, wow, you wound me, Keisuke, quite literally, in fact.
Could you not say stupid stuff like that in front of him, please? He's my senior at school and at the tennis club. And for the record, I do have friends.
The lizard arches an eyebrow, staring down at the feisty hare with a doubtful expression.
Last time you were here, the only friends you had were all adults, and they were paid for that.
They weren't paid to be my friends. They were paid to work for my father and just happened to end up becoming my friends.
The lizard shrugs.
Tomato, tomato. Anyway, how can I help you, since it's been a while since you last stopped by?
And whose fault was that? You're the one who dropped me.
The lizard grins, wrapping his arm around Keisuke's neck and poking his cheeks. Keisuke, for his part, is showing a remarkable amount of patience, merely glaring at the lizard.
Hey, if you don't want a good guitarist, that you're gonna have to. If you want to be a good guitarist, then you're gonna have to experiment. I can't just up and teach you everything. Don't tell me you came here today to ask for more lessons.
With a low growl, Keisuke pushes the lizard's arm away, stepping away from the man's massive body.
Not even if hell freezes over.
Kiyoshi does a mock pout, staring at Keikun as if the hare had just killed his puppy.
Oh, don't be like that, Kei-chan. Uncle Kiyoshi still loves you very much. There's no need to be so moody.
No idea what's going on here. Keisuke speaks through gritted teeth, clenching his fist.
Kiyoshi-san, would you mind not acting like an idiot in front of my friend?
Oh, don't be such a stick in the bud, Kei-chan boy. Your little friend here ought to learn the truth about you sooner or later.
Truth? The man wraps his arms around Keikun again, bending his knees so that his head is level with Keisuke's. He starts rubbing his cheeks against the hairs, grinning widely. Keisuke, on the other hand, looks about ready to commit murder.
The truth is, Kei-chan and I used to be... Lovers.
What? As I attempt to wrap my head around such a revelation, Keisuke punches the lizard full force in the stomach, making the guy double over in pain.
Stop joking around, you bastard! You're gonna give him the wrong idea!
The guy coughs whilst holding his stomach, looking up at Keikun with a pained grin on his face.
You're terrible, Kei-chan.
Don't make me slug you again. Keikun, what are you doing?
Oh, relax, he's just faking it. It might not look like it, but his muscle has so much muscle that he wouldn't feel anything. My hand is the only thing that hurts.
Lizard immediately stands upright, looking at us with a disappointed expression.
Oh, you figured it out.
What?
Kiyoshi-san, can we please just cut this little theater out already?
Kiyoshi smiles widely, opening his arms up.
Alright then, can I at least get a hug first? Oh, you don't have to glare at me like that, it's so intense that it hurts. Well, I don't mind stopping it anyway, I've already made you mad, so I'm definitely all set.
Maybe I should punch you one more time for good measure.
Fine by me, since I think you just end up hurting your hand. Well, if Alex were here, then it'd be another story.
Can someone explain to me what the hell just happened? The lizard turns to look at me, smiling deviously.
Certainly. You see, Kei-chan and I...
No, he's already had enough of your explanations.
Keikun turns to look at me.
Kiyoshi-san is a friend of my father. My father introduced me to him a few years back when I decided I wanted to play guitar. Kiyoshi-san handled the negotiations over the guitar that I have, and he also gave me lessons when I first started. He also is an incredibly annoying person with no sense of tact, personal boundaries, or just common decency. He enjoys getting a rise out of people, always looking for ways to provoke them and make them blow up. Kiyoshi pouts.
That's cruel, Kei-chan. I'll have you know that I only provoke the people I like.
Yeah, I could do without that affection of yours, though.
The lizard smiles, patting Kei-kun on the shoulder. And supposedly light tapping is enough to make the hair stumble.
Well, I've already gotten my fun out of it, so what can I help you with today?
Kei-kun adjusts himself, dusting off the area of his shirt that had gotten touched by the lizard. There's a big handprint on it.
You could start by washing your hands after messing around with cleaning products. You were polishing your guitar again, weren't you?
The lizard smiles.
Something like that, yeah. Don't worry, the stain will come out right off. Here, let me show you. Wah!
Ooh, Kei-kun has been hit by a shrink ray and jumps away before he lets the lizard manage to touch his shirt again.
You bastard, you were gonna rub the stain with your hand to stain it even further, weren't you?
Kiyoshi smiles deviously. Tiny Keisuke is so funny.
What, me? I'd never. I don't care, just go wash your hands already.
The lizard waves his words off uninterested.
Yes, I see your highness is still just as fussy as always. This is why you can't land yourself a girlfriend. Shut up, wash hands now!
Kiyoshi laughs thunderously, walking away to the back of the store. Only now do I notice a couple of people inside the store have been staring at us the whole time. The store is quite packed, and most of the people look at us with pity in their eyes. Of course, there are some that stare at us as if we were complete lunatics, which I thought would be more normal reaction. Keisuke notices my gaze and recomposes himself.
Don't worry about it. Most of the people that come over here are regulars. They're already up to speed with Kiyoshi-san's antics.
Kei-kun then looks at the stain on his shoulder, his shoulders sagging on the at the sight.
And this was my favorite shirts too. This is gonna be a bitch to clean.
I don't bother pointing out the fact that he has a ton of servants that he probably wash his that he probably doesn't wash his own clothes already.
Hey, Kei-chan, I'm back!
The lizard tries to grab Keisuke from behind again, but the hair ducks behind him and flees.
Kiyoshi-san, your hands are soaking wet! Well, you told me to wash them, you didn't tell me to dry them off afterwards. You really are a piece of work. Whatever, can you just do your job and help me out already?
The man immediately straightens himself, his entire facial expression morphing into a more serious look.
Of course, what are you looking for? I've got guitar lessons, I've already told you that. Yeah, you won't teach me anymore, I know that much. It's not why I came here today. Oh?
The lizard arches an eyebrow, staring inquisitively at Kei-kun.
I'm looking for a mic, preferably USB. I don't want to deal with an XLR connection or with that giant sound suite taking up a space in my room.
The lizard smiles knowingly.
You can buy a USB mic just about anywhere. You must want something more specific if you came to me. What is it? I want to record myself singing.
Just then, the entire earth is shaken by the lizard's booming laughter. Of course, the earth didn't really shake, but it certainly felt like it.
Oh my, this is precious. Little Kei-chan fancies himself a singer now. What, with that bored, annoyed voice of yours?
Kei-kun frowns, clenching his fists.
I knew I shouldn't have come here. Come on, Benjamin-san, let's leave. Hey, hold your horses there.
Is that still politically correct to say?
I was just joking around. Sure, I can help you find a good mic. How much you willing to spend? Of course, I don't have to tell you, the price doesn't really mean quality, but in most cases, the more dough you're willing to shell out, the better quality mic you'll get. I'm aware, price really isn't an issue. What sort of mic would you recommend for an amateur rock singer?
Lizard puts a finger on his chin, turning around to glance over at his entire store. It's as if his eyes are scanning everything that they can see.
I know just the thing.
He walks away for a minute before returning with a slick black box.
This one here is the thing of beauty. It's a semi-professional mic that should get you through most anything. It doesn't have boosted gains or any frequencies, so it might not be the perfect fit for rock, but it's crisp and clear and can be used for almost any genre. Plus, with my friends and with family and friends discount, it's a steal.
The man winks at Keisuke, who seems too interested in the box he carries to care about it.
Yeah, I think this'll do.
Keisuke reaches out for the box, but Kiyoshi snatches it away.
What now? Kei-chan, I believe I taught you better than that. How can you buy an expensive piece of hardware without testing it out first?
Keikun sighs, accepting his fate.
Fine. Can I use one of your studio rooms for a few minutes while I test it out? Oh, I'll have to borrow a computer, of course. Lizard smiles.
Nope!
Oh, he's gonna make him sing in front of everybody. Keikun frowns, looking at the lizard with the confusion.
What do you mean, no? How am I supposed to test this thing, then? Just let me use one of the rooms around. If it's a matter of money, then The man gestures for Keisuke to settle down, still smiling.
Jeez, relax, kid. You're way too young to be this high-strung over everything. I can't let you use a room since they're all occupied, and considering the size of my waiting list, you'd still be quite a few hours before I have an opening.
That's just perfect. You tell me that you won't let me buy it without testing, and then you won't let me test.
The lizard, still smiling, makes a tisk-tisk-tisk sound while pursing his lips.
Oh, my sweet child, I never said I wouldn't let you test it, did I?
What are you suggesting?
I have my personal laptop with me, and it's got the latest in recording and mixing software. You can test it right here at the counter.
What?
Keikun freezes, staring at the lizard in astonishment. Meanwhile, Kiyoshi looks incredibly amused by the hare's reaction, waving his hand in front of Keisuke's face.
Hello, Eartha Kei-chan! Are you there? Still there?
Keikun pushes his hand away.
Just to be sure, you're not suggesting that I sing here in front of the store, are you?
Kiyoshi smiles widely.
Ding, ding, ding! We have a winner!
Are you insane, you bastard? There's no way I'm gonna sing in public.
Why not? If you're gonna buy a microphone to record yourself singing, you might as well at least have some degree of confidence in your voice, right? Then why not sing here?
What confidence has nothing to do with this?
The lizard crosses his arms, looking haughtily down at Keisuke.
Confidence has everything to do with this. What's the point of recording it if you're never gonna publish it? I thought you were going to sing and upload it to the internet. Don't tell me you were gonna record it just for the sake of recording.
Well...
Kiyoshi shakes his head in disapproval, groaning in an overly dramatic manner.
Not this again. It's the same when I taught you to play guitar. I told you to join a band because you had serious talent, but you just refused and put yourself out there.
I have no interest in joining a band in the first place. And if I dedicated that much time to it, then I would just hurt my chances with...
The lizard waves his hand in dismissal, easily shutting Keisuke up.
Yeah, it hurt your chances with tennis. I've heard that excuse 1,000,000 times before.
Excuse? It's not an excuse. You're just mad because I want to become a tennis player instead of a musician.
Oh?
He smiles widely, suddenly looking incredibly smug.
What is it? What's with that look on your face?
Oh, it's nothing. I was just wondering.
Wondering what?
Since when you become such a poor liar?
Keisuke chokes on the lizard's words. Meanwhile, Kiyoshi stands there looking incredibly proud of himself.
When did I lie? You want to become a tennis player instead of a musician. That's bull and you know it. I've seen the look on your face when you're playing the guitar. It's nothing like the look you have when you're playing tennis.
And when did you ever see me playing tennis?
Don't be stupid, you're my best friend's kid. You think I'd stop keeping an eye on you just because you stopped coming to my store? I've been watching you ever since you were born.
Keisuke chokes again, staring wide-eyed at the lizard.
That's a lie. My father sent me away because he wanted nothing to do with me. He only took me back years later when he found out he couldn't have another heir.
Couldn't have another heir. Are you even listening to yourself? Your dad can have as many kids as he wants to. The only reason he hasn't remarried is because he knows your grandmother will push him to get rid of you if he has another child before you take over the company. He's staying single and childless to assure you continue to be provided for, and that you get the chance to inherit the company. And he only sent you away because your grandmother wanted him to. And he hasn't. He told you this before. That's a lie!
Keisuke's sudden shouting attracts the attention of everyone in the store, even a few of the people in the streets. Kiyoshi and I stared at him wide-eyed as he breathes heavily, looking at the lizard with eyes full of hostility.
Kei-chan, don't Kei-chan me!
You honestly expect me to believe this crap? My father left me and my mom to live in poverty for years, forbidding my mom from even telling me I had a father at all. Then he shows up out of the blue one day and takes me away from my mom to force me to inherit a stupid company that I never even wanted to have anything to do with. You expect me to believe that he's some sort of benevolent figure that wants my best? Cut the crap!
We both stand rooted to our spots, staring at shock and awe at Keisuke. There's one vein on his forehead that's pumping so much that it looks like it's about ready to pop. He's breathing heavily out of his outburst, trying to catch his breath once again. I really don't think this is the sort of conversation you should be having in public in front of an unrelated person like me. Or in public.
It's alright, Benjamin-san. This conversation's over now anyway.
Keisuke immediately turns around and begins walking out of the store with Kiyoshi scrambling to catch up to him.
Whoa, 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 hold your horses there, kid. Why are you leaving?
I didn't come here to be preached at. I came here to buy a product from someone I trust to know what he's talking about. But if you'd rather criticize me for my life choices, then I can take my business elsewhere.
Jeez, you're so pissy. I really wonder how you ever gonna get a girlfriend.
Keisuke blushes.
First, that's none of your business. Second, shut up.
Kiyoshi chuckles, giving Keisuke a few encouraging taps on his shoulder.
Alright, I promise I won't criticize or do anything else of the sorts, okay? So just stick around and test the mic you wanted.
Will you let me get a room in your studio to test it?
Jeez, these two are quick to at each other's throats and quick to make up, too. Here I thought the mood was just gonna stay heavy.
Sorry, kid, I already told you all my rooms are booked. If you want to test, you're gonna have to do it at the counter. Plus, it's not like I offer my studio rooms to people who want to test products. Everyone tests at the counter.
But last time I came here, you let me test a guitar in the studio.
Yep, I sure did, because you're an exception. Don't get me wrong, I'd let you use one of the private rooms if any of them were free. But since they're not, you're gonna have to do the same thing everyone else does.
I'd really rather not sing in public.
Hey kid, you there with the tennis shirt and the stupid look?
But me?
Of course it's you. Is there anyone else standing next to us other than you?
What do you mean, stupid look? What is it?
Kay seems to consider you a good friend and they chose to bring you here instead of Alex.
Who's Alex? The man frowns, staring at me in dismay.
You don't even know Alex! Shit, kid, when did you meet Kay? Yesterday?
Well, He waves me off.
You know what? Never mind, not important. You ever heard Kay sing before? I heard from his father that he was a group of friends who was going out quite frequently for a while now. You in that group? If so, kids ever go to karaoke?
Yeah, I've gone to karaoke once with him before. His smile widens and he looks awfully pleased at hearing this.
Perfect. Now, would you say that Cake here has at least passable as a singer?
Well, I wouldn't say passable.
So you're saying he's no good?
That's not what I'm saying.
See, Kay, your friend here says you're halfway decent. That's already a lot better than most of the people who come here to buy mics. You'll be fine.
Can this guy let me finish for at least one sentence?
I'm not sure that's a good way to convince me.
For Christ's sake, kid, just pick up the damn mic and sing a song. Doesn't have to be good. We only want to see if the mic's good for your type of voice.
Alright, fine. Stop nagging me about it already.
Kiyoshi smiles.
That's the spirit. Well, mostly. I'd still prefer a little more enthusiasm, but I guess this'll do. I'm gonna hook this to my computer and be back in a few.
Kiyoshi-san walks away, going behind the counter and fiddling with a bunch of cables and boxes. That guy's intense.
Yeah, sorry about that. If you let Kiyoshi-san get started, and he'll talk your ears off for hours.
Can't even get a word in edgewise.
No kidding. Guess people like this exist, huh? I have to say, it was kind of funny when he was talking to Keikun like that, but once he started cutting me off all the time, it got pretty annoying fast. Are you really gonna test the mic in the middle of the store? Keisuke shrugs, frowning.
Don't really have a choice. If I don't do what Kiyoshi-san wants, then I'll never hear the end of it.
Couldn't you just not come over here to see him anymore? Didn't he say that you guys hadn't seen each other in years?
He knows where I live, he just avoids visiting because he hates my grandmother. But I'm sure if I pissed him off enough, he'd come over just to rant at me. Honestly, I'm surprised he never dropped by once in the past 3 years. But from what I hear, my father still visits him quite often.
Yeah, that thing about your father.
Listen, I'd appreciate if you pretended never to hear that, okay? My relationship with my father is tense. Despite Kiyoshi-san trying to convince me otherwise, I live with my father and I know what kind of person he is. I'd rather keep him as uninvolved in my life as possible, so I'd prefer not to include him in any conversation with my friends, okay? It's one of the few places in my life where I don't have to deal with his influence.
Okay. An awkward silence looms over us afterwards. I can't think of a single thing to say, and Keikun just pouts the whole time. He's definitely not in any mood to talk, but he still waits patiently for Kiyoshi-san to call us over. When he finally does, the lizard hands Keikun a big black microphone with a silver-colored bulbous head. It's not silver-colored, but it is bulbous.
There you go. This is the Zural ZMP 7501. It's a decent mid-range dynamic mic with a built-in pop filter at the head.
Damn!
So you can just hold it in your hands and sing into it instead of building it into a mic stand. No need to have a bunch of different parts for it, because you can still use a mic stand if you want, but you don't have to worry about a pop filter at least. Do you have any song in mind that you want to try? I have a bunch of different karaoke in my computer here, and I can load one for you in a jiffy. Well, to be honest, I plan on testing it with a song I wrote myself. Oh, man!
Kiyoshi-san grins widely, grabbing Keisuke's neck and rubbing the tip, Jesus, on the top of his head while the hair tried to free himself.
You dog, it's for a love song for a girl you like, isn't it? Well, of course not, I don't like any girls. Oh, so for a guy you like then. Okay, I don't judge.
Keisuke elbows him in the gut, making the lizard immediately double over in pain whilst the hair jumps away.
It's not like that, and stop goofing around in public already.
Kiyoshi-san is wheezing, trying to catch his breath, hacking and coughing in pain.
Okay, that was a bit too hard.
He looks to be genuinely in pain when I start to worry about him. Shit, Keikun, did you have to hit him that hard?
Oh, please, how many times do you think he's pulled this trick on me before? Do you really think I'd still fall for it, and you're still trying it twice in the same day? Have some creativity.
Kiyoshi-san immediately stands upright, rubbing the back of his head and sticking his tongue out cheekily.
Oh, you figured it out.
What, you were faking it again?
Like I said, this guy's built like a rock. The only thing that's in pain is me. My elbow really hurts. You sure you're alright? You hit me kinda hard there. You didn't break a bone or anything.
Hey, that's kinda backwards. Why does the person just get hit, worried about his assailant had hurt himself hitting him?
See, he's completely fine. There's no reason for you to worry, Benjamin-san.
I see. This guy is way too much for me to handle. I don't know how Keikun does it.
Can I borrow a guitar? Acoustic if possible. Oh, I didn't know you wanted to... I didn't know you knew how to play acoustic guitar. It's the same thing for the most part. It's just going to be a little fatter.
Kiyoshi smiles, diving behind his counter to pull up a beautiful, incredibly shiny guitar.
Well, sure, but the grip can be a little tricky if you're not used to it. Also, this one is my baby, so be careful with it, okay?
Keisuke grabs hold of the guitar, carefully inspecting every nook and cranny of it.
Alright, this one is great. Mind if I check the tuning? Go right ahead, but I believe you will find that it's already tuned.
Keisuke nods and starts strumming the strings of the guitar.
Actually, the G and E strings are slightly out of tune. They need to be fixed.
Kiyoshi-san immediately slouches, staring down at Keisuke in dismay.
Seriously? I thought for sure it was perfect this time. Sorry, no.
Wait a second. Why are you just taking Keisuke's word for it? Don't get me wrong, he's my friend, but don't you have years of experience over him? Shouldn't you know more about this than he does? Kiyoshi-san purses his lips, looking slightly miffed.
Sure, I have more experience, but experience can't make up for something else that he has.
And that is... Keisuke looks up at me as if he's now realizing something.
Oh, Benjamin-san, I never told you I have perfect pitch.
Of course you have perfect pitch, you are perfect at fucking everything! Perfect pitch?
It means he's capable of accurately detecting changes in pitch, no matter how minor, and perfectly name each and every key as accurately as a machine, if not more accurately. That's why I so badly wanted for him to become a musician. It's not every day that you find someone who has that.
Having perfect pitch doesn't mean I'll be a good musician, though. Identifying a note and making music are two very different things.
Well, sure, but it would at least make a lot of your life easier.
Having perfect pitch would make me an incredibly annoying bandmate. I'd be able to detect any mistakes caused by my colleagues, however slight they might be. Anyone would go crazy if I consistently and mercilessly pointed at every single minor mistake they made.
You think so? I myself would love to have a bandmate that could guide me to absolute perfection.
That's because you're not normal by any definition of the word.
Oh, shucks. Thanks, kid.
That wasn't a compliment.
I can't decide whether these two get along well or not. But then again, isn't this kind of more extreme version of his relationship with Shuichi, without the mutual antagonism? Keisuke adjusts the strings and tests a few more times before exhaling in triumph.
Alright, these are perfect.
Kiyoshi-san, could you please place the mic on this stand for me?
Way ahead of you, kid.
Kiyoshi-san pushes a black mic stand towards Keisuke.
This high enough. Has to be a little lower than your mouth since it also has to capture the guitar.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Keisuke readjusts himself in his seat, holding the guitar with utmost care, almost as if he was holding a small child. Keisuke knocks on the guitar a couple of times, silently doing a countdown to himself. Kiyoshi-san presses a button on his laptop and sees that it has begun to record. Sitting on a small wooden bench in the middle of the store, Kei-kun starts to strum his guitar. Since this is something about music, I'll turn the fucking music up. A soft melody echoes from the instrument, suddenly filling the room with its gentle tune. The faint scent of dust, the humidity in the air, the buzzing of the people happily chatting by just outside. I notice them less and less as he continues to play. All of my senses begin to tune them out, tune into that melody. My body can sense nothing more. This feeling is new and yet oddly familiar. I know that when I first heard June playing, it was something like that. While June's was a soft melody that quietly wormed its way into your heart, Keisuke's was a gentle song full of passion that stole your senses away. Almost as if he was screaming,
"Look at me! Look at me! Look at me, Mary! Mary! Look at me! Look at me, Mary! Mary!"
Then, as the intro to the song ended, Keisuke turned his head away from the mic to swallow once. When he turned back to open his mouth, his voice suddenly echoed through the room, hitting me like space had just exploded. Even though he wasn't particularly trying to do it, his voice commanded so much respect. It demanded attention. Mary! You could also hear him you could not hear him sing and not watch him intently. Such a thing just wasn't allowed. The people in the store noticed him immediately, completely stopping what they were doing to watch him in awe. Some people walking on the streets outside heard his voice and quietly walked inside. But if one thing was for sure, it was that all those in this makeshift audience were left completely stunned, unable to take his eyes off of him. Even though this was just an improvised performance. No, this can't even be called a performance. Keisuke is just trying out a new mic. But even then, as soon as he begins to sing, it's as if he's drawn into a completely different world. One where only he exists. Even if he wasn't confident in his voice before, The instant he began performing, his presence simply filled the room. He exuded confidence. But just as quickly as performance had begun, Keisuke's voice begins to soften until he stops singing altogether, and a couple of strums later he also stops playing the guitar. As he whispered the last word and strummed the last note, Keisuke put his guitar down with a smile. Only then did I notice that he had his eyes closed the whole performance. I spent the whole time looking directly at him, and yet I never noticed that. It takes a look around to see the amount of people inside the store had completely quadrupled in size, and all of them were staring directly at him.
Huh? What's all these people here?
Now I can turn the music back down. Honestly, even if he had his eyes closed, how did he not notice all these people coming in? Every single one of the people that came inside to watch him was smiling widely, or whiling smidely, as if they had just witnessed something amazing and satisfying. Which, in a sense, I suppose they did. Hee hee. Hell, even I can't keep myself from grinning. Keisuke's music, even if I had heard him sing before at karaoke, I was not ready for this. When he sings one of his songs, it's like the effect is increased tenfold.
Holy crap, kid, you're an amazing singer, too! Shit, you have to go pro! You just have to!
Keisuke chokes, taking a few seconds to recompose himself.
Don't patronize me, Kiyoshi-san. I know it was nothing special. Patronize you, kid? I used to be a professional musician. I have for some of the most highly sought-out guitar lessons in Japan. I have for one of the biggest instrument store chains in the country. Do you really think I'm the type to offer idle praise? Think about it. How many times did I praise you for your guitar playing? You might be good now, but dear God, you sucked ass when you first started.
Of course I did. I'd only just started. You can't expect someone to be a good guitarist after just 1 week.
Kiyoshi-san smiles widely.
If you truly want something, then you'll always find a way.
Don't say such unreasonable things with a smile on your face.
Aw, I don't really think it's that unreasonable.
Oh, it was. It was completely unreasonable. You're a completely unreasonable person.
Kiyoshi-san starts to pout, fidgeting around with comically blown up cheeks.
What? That's so not true. I'm a very reasonable person.
You throw an ashtray on my face once because I couldn't get a solo right.
Hey, that's not being unreasonable. I gave you ample time to practice that and you fudged it up.
You gave me 2 days, and I only been playing the guitar for 2 weeks by then. The hell are you talking about?
I just want to chime in and say that throwing things at people is completely unacceptable, regardless of what reasons you might have. Kiyoshi-san frowns.
Oh, so you're one of those, huh? That's too bad. I thought we could get along.
One of those? What are those what?
You those silly people who think you're not supposed to administer physical punishment to a child. Ooh, it ruins their childhood and all that.
Excuse me, but how are those two things even related? I'm not a child, I'm 17 years old. I'll be 18 in a couple of months, for crying out loud.
18 is nothing, kid. Wait until you hit your 40s like me.
Will I be allowed to throw an ashtray at your face then?
Kiyoshi-san bellows out a thunderous laugh, completely filling the store with his booming voice. Well, safe to say that a few people who had walked away after Keisuke's performance have now vacated the premises to save their eardrums from popping.
That's the spirit, kid! Of course you can throw an ashtray on my face! Not sure that'll do much damage, though.
Seriously, everything about you is unreasonable. How can your skin be so hard in the first place?
That's for me to know and for you to go nuts trying to find out.
Keisuke groans in frustration. Okay, I'll admit, watching these two talking is incredibly funny. Seriously, it's taking all my self-control to keep from bursting out laughing.
Meanwhile, I still have the scar from where the ashtray hit my forehead.
Oh yeah, your pop screamed at me for 2 hours straight when you came home that day.
Of course he did. No matter what kind of father he is, I came home bleeding from my forehead. Plus, my father was the least of your problems.
Ugh, don't remind me. Alex threatened to cut me to pieces and throw me into a dumpster. Talk about overreacting.
I'm sure he was just bluffing. I hope.
Doesn't matter, the message was driven home. No way I'm laying a hand on you after that. Haven't done it in 3 years and I won't do it now. Good, at least I won't have to worry about any more heavy objects flying in my face.
About the scar you have. How come I've never seen it? Keisuke sighs, touching his left bow with the tip of his fingers and pulling his fur apart.
Luckily for me, the fur grew over it. But you can still see it if you look close enough.
Oh yeah. It's a pretty big scar, alright. I can't even begin to imagine how much he must have bled.
Sheesh, do you have to keep trying to make me feel bad about it, kid? How many times have I apologized already? I'm not trying to make you feel sorry, even though you should. And the answer to your question is none. You've never apologized for it. Oh yeah. Well, no use starting now, am I right?
He starts laughing again, seemingly incredibly amused at himself. I can't decide if this guy is a genius or an idiot. I'll just cut the difference to say he's a Jade-idiot. Clever, I know.
You're an oaf, you know that? Why, thank you, I'm the oafiest of oafs. Again, not a compliment. Either way, can you play back the recording for me so we can decide if this is a good mic for me? Sure, just hang on a second. Let me clean up the audio file just a tiny bit.
Fiddles with a bunch of knobs and settings I cannot even begin to understand. Once satisfied, he hands my headphones to Keisuke.
Alright, listen for yourself. I personally think it sounds great.
Keikun puts on the headphones, finally answering once and for all the question I've always had in my mind. How do rabbits and hares use headphones? Apparently, it's far easier than I first thought.
I made that? This is me? Is this really me? Yep, I assume you never heard yourself recorded through the high-fidelity mic. This is what you actually sound like to other people. I told you got tremendous talent as a singer. Are you sure you don't want to consider it? No, thank you, but still, I can't believe I actually sound like this. Now I'm even more excited to start recording songs. That's the spirit, kid. So you'll be taking this one then. For you, it's wholesale price, so you don't have to worry about money. You remember my guitar? Pretty safe to say money isn't gonna be an issue. Hey, it was your dad who bought it for you. You didn't buy it out of your own pocket. True, but I could.
Yoshi-san chokes.
How much money have you saved up? Over 90% of all the money I've been given since my father took me in.
The lizard whistles in admiration.
That's quite a lot of dough. And I already know your dad gives you ridiculous amounts every week. You tell me. I've told him the amount he gives me weekly would last 6 months, but he doesn't listen.
Wow, talk about your first world problems there. From his reaction to hearing me speak, I think it's safe to say that Keisuke forgot I was even here in the first place.
Sorry, Benjamin-san. I guessed you. It sounds like I'm whining about having too much money.
You don't have to apologize for that. I'm just casually ribbing you on how overly absurd your complaint just now was. I don't care how much money you get.
Yeah, thing is, I care. I already don't like my father giving me money, let alone that much. Seriously, kid, learn to depend on your dad a little. He's not as bad as you make him out to be, I swear. No offense, Kiyoshi-san, you might have grown up with him, but I'm the one who has to live with him. I know how he treats me. And also, I already said that I don't want to talk about this, so can we please drop it? Alright, no need to get all pissy again. Let me just get this boxed up and then we can be on your merry way.
Doesn't take up long to get the microphone bagged neatly again inside the box. I don't even have the opportunity to glance at the price sticker before Keikun has already ripped it out and paid for the mic.
Thank you, Kiyoshi. Whoa. Thank you, Kiyoshi-san. It was nice seeing you again, despite everything. For sure, kid. Don't be a stranger anymore, okay? I swear if you go another year without visiting me, I'll break into your house in the middle of the night and I'll shake you awake. Good luck with that. The hounds would tear you apart. Pretty sure my skin is hard enough to survive a few dog bites.
Keisuke's smile is so eerie it sends chills down my spine. It's off-putting, to say the least.
You said anything about biting, or dogs.
Despite me not understanding what he's implying, Kiyoshi's expression suddenly shifts to a very somber one.
Oh, yeah, that one might actually kill me, alright. Guess I'll tread carefully after all. Don't worry, Kiyoshi-san, I'll come visit you someday. Can visit you again soon. Sorry to have been away for so long.
The two wave each other goodbye. Soon, we're already back into the street.